Okay guys, so it has been just a little over a week since the monumental announcement was made that Disney was acquiring all the media assets like movies and TV series slash stations from Fox. This of course is going to change the landscape of television and film forever, but we're here to specifically talk about everything we know about this deal as it pertains to the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Deadpool. So let's start off with the most basic thing. From what we understand, Fox decided to start looking into selling in late 2016 and early 2017. It's rumored around January. They really started to send out their agents and get a feel for who might be the best option. Now also, from what we understand, Disney was one of their first big ones that they wanted to go after. Specifically because they started to develop a working relationship with Disney when it came time to talk about things like X-Men on the TV, which they would have to go to Marvel through Disney to talk about, and of course character exchanges that go back as far as Deadpool 1, exchanging characters like Negasonic Teenage Warhead for the likes of Ego, who was owned by Fox. So that relationship was already there, and they wanted to keep working with that and see if anything more could happen. It wasn't until after September when serious talks actually started to take place, looking like this had to materialize. Of course, when we look at what was happening, Fox had to sell their assets. More or less, they couldn't compete in today's growing market of other bigger studios that had way more properties, and Fox was seeing diminishing returns year after year. The best course of action was to sell to someone, guarantee jobs for thousands of people that are still there, and not have to fraction all of their different assets. Therefore, Disney and Comcast became the two big ones that were going after them, with Sony doing some preliminary talks, but they fell out very early. Towards the end of November of 2017, this is when things got a lot more interesting. CNBC, who of course is actually part of Comcast Universal, announced this as an actual thing that was happening, and that Disney was very close to signing the deal, but that Comcast was still very much after them, and that the decision would be made by the end of the year. A couple weeks would go by, and every week we would hear a small update about the major things that were going on behind the scenes, and it was officially confirmed that Disney more or less had the agreement and everything. The bankers were set out, that the agreement was going to be finalized, and of course then came the day. December 14th of 2017, 7:30 a.m. before the stock market opened, this was officially announced. And of course, everything came out after that. So right off the bat in the press release, it was announced that Disney of course made this acquisition because of the opportunities that they saw to integrate this giant portfolio of TV series, of cartoons, of movies for their upcoming giant service. Now, not only that, not only are they focusing on their streaming service, this gave Disney over 300 new channels worldwide, such as FX, Fox, you're looking at other major branches like Sky Network, Hulu, they became the major shareholder of. So this was a giant thing that now they've acquired so many shows that this more or less now certified Disney as the biggest brand in Hollywood. And within the press release, the details we were looking for were there. It was officially announced right within it that the cross-pollination / official confirmation of the fact that the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four are officially heading to Marvel Studios. And it was only mere hours after when Disney CEO President Bob Iger would take the stage and start answering some questions, officially stating that yes, the Fantastic Four are ours. Expect these things to all be integrated properly. Of course, the next thing he wanted to tackle was the fact that Disney is not going to mess with what's been working. Deadpool will remain rated R, and if there's an outlet to get more rated R films, if that's what the fans want, this is always an option. This echoed something that Kevin Feige said earlier this year, saying that R-rated movies aren't out of the question, it's just a matter of finding the right character. Quite clearly, they already knew that the deals and discussions were already happening, and of course Kevin Feige would be privy to these things, considering he's the head of Marvel Studios, so he was already kind of prepping people for this announcement. The next thing that was officially announced was the fact that all the Marvel properties would be moving under Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios, and that this process would take roughly 18 to 24 months. This is, of course, all the paperwork and everything has to go through, so we know that the stuff that already exists out there, such as the Marvel X-Men TV shows, are safe for the time being, but at some point, most likely, we're going to see a complete reboot of these properties, or a full cancellation. Either way, they're going to be part of the new continuity, so it's better to just wipe the slate clean, and that looks like is what they're effectively going to be doing with everything related to the comic book properties. Other than Deadpool, which they more or less stated that Deadpool continues existing the exact way he's going to keep existing, other than the fact that Kevin Feige is very interested in recasting everything else and eager to get the X-Men under his belt and start planning the future of the MCU with them involved. So as of right now, that's everything we know about this giant deal. Over the next couple years, we're definitely going to see them start to be integrated, and over the next couple months, I assume as we get closer to Infinity War, they're going to start building up hype for these properties being integrated into the MCU.